Hello. How are we doing tonight? I just pushed the button on my Stream Deck to send a tweet, and it didn't work. But it did change my Twitter title to say I'm live on Twitter, on Twitch. So I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure what's going on. Contributing. I've just got a notification to say contributing to some cake add-ins. Was that one of you guys that did that? Or was that something on Twitch that did that? Because I'm so confused. Because one thing that hasn't been happening when I click that start button is it hasn't been changing the Twitch title that it's meant to be setting, and I don't know what's going on. I really don't. So now it's set the title. Okay. So now the title's working again, but now it isn't sending a tweet. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into all of this. Okay, anyway. Right. So the plan of attack for tonight is... I'm going to be continuing with... Eventually, we're going to be continuing with this list of Cake-Contrib add-ins, right? So since I've started recording, which was on the 23rd of August, we've gone down from... And let me just bring this up, because this is important. These numbers are important to me, right? So since I've started noting down what we're doing, we've gone down to 107 of 280 that aren't using the latest recommended version of Cake in their add-ins. And that's down from 121. So 14 add-ins have been updated, which is good. The other one that is interesting, or at least interesting to me, and that's really the most important thing in my head. If we say all the ones that are pinned to cake.recipe, which are these ones, and then the ones that have got an empty license file, then we're currently at 9. And that's down from 15. So again, progress being made there. And then if we clear that one more time and do the ones that are not using cake.recipe, then it's down to 12. And that's down from 22. So in the first list of things that I would like to get finished, there are 12 that are left, right? So these are the ones that we'll be working on later on tonight, hopefully. So that's the spreadsheet. But what we're going to work on first of all is we're going to work on this Poshbot Soon add-in, plugin. That's the word I'm looking for. Plugin for Poshbot. So this has been sitting on my to-do list for a long time, right? I started this 6 months ago, and I never got around to I never got around to publishing it. For one, so there was a good reason for that. There was a good reason for that, and that's because there wasn't any common way of getting it to work across all the different chat backends. So the way that I had it working for my implementation of the Gitter backend didn't work if you did it in Slack, right? So Maurice in the chat room decided that he wanted to have a go at fixing it. So he set up Slack in his organization, or he had Slack in his organization. He installed Poshbot, and he had a play with this Poshbot Soon module that I created. And he sent in a pull request, and that pull request is in here. And rather than doing it the way that I was toying with doing it, which was literally just writing out an image tag, because the way that Gitter wants it to work is that if you just put in a URL, it won't render the image. But if you do that in Slack, it would, right? So I was kind of erring on the side of making it work in Gitter because that's kind of where I wanted it. But the new Poshbot card response has been updated. So that's a function that comes with Poshbot. And by using that, kind of the understanding of which backend is being used and all that sort of stuff is completely abstracted. So from an add-in perspective, you can just call that and it should just work in all the backends. Maurice has reminded me in the chat room that his Poshbot was called Daisy as well, because, I mean, who doesn't need a Poshbot called Daisy? That's what it's all about, right? So he was able to prove out that it all works. So now the only caveat to all of this is that that function working the way that we want it to is tied to 0.11.8 of Poshbot. So with that version of Poshbot installed, anytime you write soon, whether that is at the start of a message, in the middle of a message, at the end of a message, regardless of where you write soon, it will randomly send you a message or a picture with the word soon in it, with some sort of funny image in it, right? So it's not a particularly useful add-in, but it goes to kind of illustrate the point of what Poshbot can do for you. And I borrowed it from, the original implementation was borrowed from the HughBot implementation of Soon, which does exactly the same thing. So it's a little bit of fun, right? So Maurice sent in a PR, which I reviewed and merged in earlier today, which was literally just to make that change. And he's then sent in a subsequent pull request, which is, and rightly so, to stipulate that requirement on 0.11.8 of Poshbot is required. So this is specifying that here. So I'm going to go ahead and say that looks good as well. So I'm going to go and get this merged then. So the intention for the start of this evening is to get this module to a point where we can ship it and send it up to the PowerShell gallery. So I'm going to go in here and say MK, and then here I'm going to do this one, pull request, thank you. I know he's on the stream and I'm going to say thank you, but I'm also going to do it in writing as well. So I'm going to send that in there. And if we jump back to this one, then I think he already labeled it as an improvement, which is what we wanted. And we are also going to assign it to the 0.10 milestone so that we can capture that. Okay, so what I want to do then is I want to make sure that I can build this. So, so normally on this stream, we're talking about things surrounding Cake, because that's the main kind of build automation tool that I work on and provide functions to. But this project uses Saki, which is or PSake. Religious debate about how you want to pronounce it. I've always called it Saki. So it using Saki, which is very similar to Cake, but it's just a PowerShell implementation rather than C#. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to do a rebase of origin on develop. That will pull down the pull request that just got added in. And if we go ahead and do a build, so it's a build.ps1, if we build that locally, then it all should work. There's no reason that it shouldn't. I mean, it built just before I came on the stream, and we've just pulled in that that pull request from Maurice. And I think you have mentioned that, Kim. It's under my fingers now. I can't. I'm still trying to get used to this whole git switch thing. I'm trying to force myself to get used to that one, but it just feels wrong. So in the same way that doing git pull rebase, it just feels a little bit wrong as well. But maybe one day. So that build succeeded. There was an init task, there was an analyze, a pester, a test, and then that's it. So it's building locally. So we need a new CI build set up for it as well, because I noticed that when I was speaking to Maurice earlier that we don't have a CI build set up for this project. So we're going to need to go into here, and we're going to go and pick the Poshbot soon, which is this one, and let's just kick it off and see. Well, there is an appbear.yaml file here, so let's just check to see what it does. So the appbear YAML file is specifying blah blah blah, and then to run the test task. So that looks good to me. So if we go ahead and run this, So we should get the same results running on appver as we do when we run it locally. So again, it should just build. And if it does, then we can look to getting this set up. Now, there's a couple things in the Saki workflow that are, I guess, kind of missing from the way that I would normally do things. So, I mean, the way that I do build automation, especially on GitHub, is I have the concept of a milestone. I'll add issues to that milestone, etc., etc. In a Cake build, when I'm using Cake.recipe, I have helper methods that then help me generate release notes from that, etc., etc. Now, in this Saki implementation that I have locally here, I don't have any of that. So I might have to do some of that manually, but we will we'll come to those. Kim saying WMF5 image is obsolete. I think just as well using the Visual Studio 2015 image. I think I remember having this conversation with you before. As long as it has PowerShell 5, I think that's the main. What are the image names? Below, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, right? But I mean, where this thing came from is I unashamedly stole this from the base template from Brandon, the creator of Poshbot. I unashamedly stole it from him. So if there's things that need to be updated, then we might have to send it back to him as well. So you think that PowerShell 5 is going to be on 2015? Do you? Below you can see a list of all pre-installed blah 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 pre-installed software on Windows images. PowerShell 5 is on all of them, so we don't really need to. Yeah, I agree. So it's on all of them, but I saw it was there, so we could pick any one of them. So let's put it in so that we know we're making an informed choice about which one we're putting in. We'll put that in there then, and that's probably as good a test to make sure that everything's hooked up as well. So this is just going to be a build. Change appver build image. Save that, and then let's push that. So get push origin, and then we'll see if that flows through, and we should get a build coming out of that. So that the build that we triggered manually worked, which is good. You're mentioning Poshbot XKCD, Maurice. I think there is one, isn't there? Fairly sure there is one already. Or is that what you're referring to? Or the fact that I stole it from there? I unashamedly stole it from one of them. I think you're right. It was that one. Yes, it was one of them. Brandon's got quite a few, so it was one of them. So let's see if this still works. Did not find config file appver ps/slack.xml. What's that? What's ps/slack.xml? Slack.xml. What is that? I wonder what that is. Yeah, but I'm curious as to why it's creating it. What does that test task? What's the first thing that test task does? Default depends on test. Test depends on init. Script analyzer runs. Then analyze and then pester. Don't know. Default backend probably is Slack, yes. But okay. I mean, I was just curious as to what that message was there. So the build works on AppVeyor, so we know that. So that's good. So what are you sending me there? Is that safe for putting on stream, Maurice, before I copy and paste it? What are you sending me? Let's have a look. Ship it. Beautiful. Okay, so I think I do want to ship it. I think I do want to put this out the door. So if we go in here, oh, there must be some. Why is there only one in there? I'm so confused. What's going on there? Yeah, those should have been assigned as well. Milestone there. Boom, boom. Get release manager. I don't have it. So that's kind of what I was referring to earlier, Maurice. I don't have that in this Saki script, and it's been a long time since I've done any sort of Saki build scripts. So I don't have anything off the top of my head to start quickly putting that in, and that's not something I really want to mess around with necessarily on this stream. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way and just hard code some stuff, and then ship it. So yeah, I mean, I'll do the workflow. So git checkout. No, let's do it the other way. Git switch minus. See, I can't even type it. Switch minus C because B's too hard. Release 0.1.0 from develop. Boom. Could just add the call and install directly to the app.fair YAML file. Could just add the call directly to the app.fair YAML file. Are we talking about Git release manager here? Because that would require environment variables and loading of all that stuff. And creating of the tasks, creating of the release notes is not something I typically do on AppVeyor. I normally do that locally anyway. That's the one thing I do locally, and then let the rest of it flow through. So I'm not too concerned about that. Maybe in the next release. I mean, what would be nice would be the equivalent of cake.recipe in Saki, so having Saki.recipe, and then having, again, just a kind of a template. Now, Brandon's kind of already got some of that with the concept of his PowerShell build module, which includes a bunch of common tasks. And I could do something similar with the kind of the what I want in my set of tasks. But again, that's a job for, I think, another day. So git checkout. Git checkout master. Git merge. I really can't type that. No, FF on release. Boom. Git push origin. Okay. Some maybes. Okay, so that's pushed it up to there. So what we want to do then is we want to now go up to here and we want to create a release. So let's do a 0.1.0. That's not a 1, that's a tilde. And then in here, we're going to want something. Edit that. I did that. Oh, it's sent it already. I had the return key rather than the save. Doesn't really matter. Because we're not actually doing any publishing on the AppVeyor side, but it would have been nice to put the release notes in already. So let's steal from one of these. Here's some documentation. Edit release. And we're going to put in a release title of 0.1.0. Part of the release we had, I don't know, how many commits did we have? It's really the first one. So that is 8. So we had 8 commits. Normally that links to somewhere. So let's steal that. And interesting. That's not what I just did. Yes, you're right, the 3 issues. One is a milestones, 3 closed issues, 2 improvements, 1 feature. So we'll say features and improvements. That's going to be something. Let's get the formatting right. Let's have underscores for those. So we put that in there, that in there, that in there, that in there. And then the titles are here for improvement. First improvement was this one. Oh, that's gonna really. What did that do? Copy. Paste. And is it just do something else, don't we? Yeah, what's this? Oh, it wants the whole. Fine. Copy. Paste. That's a number 4. That's a number 4. This is poshbot.soon. This is get13-OSS. Copy. Paste. The other one is a number 2. Copy. Number 2. Number 2. What we should probably do is put this one above. And then you can. Yeah, okay. I'm getting there. I know I'm slow, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And then the feature one is initial implementation of. Copy that. Put that into here. And I'm gonna make a wild assumption that that was issue number 1. And issue number 1. And then over here, what you're suggesting is this. Copy. Three. Now, the thing you've got to watch though is that the milestone number is not always what you think it's going to be. It is a 1 in this case. Milestone 1. http://ep13-oss posh bot.soon blah blah blah. Okay, see what that looks like. Kim saying, I can't say that I remember seeing the amount of commits when it was first released. You would need a reference to the first ever commit SHA in that case, I think. And don't forget the... Oh, did I mess something up? Oh, sorry, I did. Need this. Need that. Thank you very much. I can't think I remember seeing the amount of commits when it's first released. Was that not? Oh, I see what you're saying. So I kind of stole Cake.Karma's one. But... Oh, look at you can't... Yeah, it was just that one. Okay, fine. So we're just going to say, we put 8 commits in, but we just don't have the link between the two. And that's fine. So it's not wrong. That doesn't look right though. Why is that coming up as... What's the difference there? Is there 2 underscores there? Oh, there is 2 underscores. Look at that. Let's go back to this. 2 underscores. 2 underscores. 2 underscores. 2 underscores. Beautiful. Okay. So that's it tagged, so we know where we're at. So the only thing that's left is to publish. So there is in the Saki task, there is a publish. So if we run that task, then in theory, we should be able to publish it out. Because what I did earlier was I grabbed my API key from the PowerShell gallery. I put it into an environment variable, and in theory, it should just work. So if I go into here and say, let's grab the. Well, it better not print the standard out erase, because that would be bad. It's not going to do that, is it? No, I can't see it doing that. Publishing version module. Oh, did we check that? Where's my manifest? I think I made that. I think I put it in as... Yeah, we did. It's a little bit of luck there. So if I... all I should need to do is run the build with the publish task. In theory, it should go out the door, he says. And what we should be able to do is... It's just looking for a task parameter. So it's the default is task default. So we should be able to do build.ps1 with a task of... I've already forgotten the name of it. Is it publish? It was publish, right? It was publish. So if we do publish, it should do it. Let's do it. Let's give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? It's running. It's doing something. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun. It's creating a boat now. Oh. Publishing version 010 to PowerShell gallery. Loading sim keywords. Getting module list. Did a bunch of stuff there. Okay. What happened? PowerShell gallery. Poshbot. Soon. Oh, I just got an email saying package is published. So let's go down here and see what kind of... I'm off screen now on my other... Oh, it's saying published there, look. Oh, it's saying it's appeared. So let's grab the URL. Let's stick it in. So it's maybe not indexed in the search, but it is there. A soon plugin for Poshbot. Look at that. Gary Ewan Park. Now, the other thing that I was going to do was, let's click on this button down here, and I'm going to say, bum bum bum. I think I got that. Let's send it. So it did. So I've just added Maurice as a co-owner or author in this parlance. I've just added Maurice to it because, I mean, he got it over the final hurdle. So testing, yes, that would be good. So are we going to do that on this stream? I don't think so. We're not going to do that on this stream. I'm going to leave that to Maurice to test properly, because co-owner or collaborator. Let's author here. So I've already added him into the Poshbot soon as a person. So he's now in as his face is here. Look, he now has rights onto. Yes, no, sorry, that part I'd already done, Kim. So I literally just added him to as a co-author on the package now that it's published as well. So if he can go ahead and accept that, I'm interested to see if that appears here, or the question that we had is whether we need to update the author here as well. Do we need to add him in here to make it appear? That one we weren't clear on. So you're in refresh here. So you're now an author. So now if I refresh this, see, that's unfortunate. It doesn't actually show the owners here, does it? It doesn't actually show. I think we definitely should do it as a the contact owners would. It's unlikely to show you that. It's unlikely to show you who it's going out to. But let's click on it as well. Oh no, it shows you your names are your name is appearing there. Interesting. I don't know why they don't show it on the homepage, on the package page. That's rather strange. I would have expected to see that, but anyway. So for the next release, we need to include Maurice's name there in the PSD1 file, so that it flows through to the site. Because, yeah, we need to. Okay, but that's the soon plugin shipped. Click the package detail. Oh, what's in there? Oh, look at that. There he is. Why is that not expanding? Okay, so all of that information is there. That's a little strange, in my opinion. Anyway, so we are now one of the 24 packages associated with Poshbot. So I fully expect that this download count tomorrow is going to be up to at least one. And if not, maybe two. So to show again as an example of what you can expect, if we go to Maurice's, what you'll get is a scary looking Barney with an axe saying soon. And there is a collection of over, how many was there? There's from line 12 to, so there's like 20 of them. There we go. 20 different soon images that will randomly appear when you type the word soon into your Slack. There we go. Anyway, so that's done. So that was the first thing I wanted to get out the door. So I'm going to leave that up to Maurice if you wanted to send in a PR to correct your name. What I will do while we're here is we will add a new milestone. Oh, I should close that milestone because that's not part of my build process either. So let's put 0.1.1 in here and create a milestone. And that will go out the door. Okay, so we've done that one. And our app there builds up and running. So that's all good. And I think we can move on to Cake-Contrib stuff. Unless there was any questions from anyone about that publishing of that module. If not, we'll move on to some Cake-Contrib add-ins. Your laptop just went into airplane mode. Don't think that was anything to do with the add-in that just got published. I haven't got those skills. No, I haven't got those skills. So, onwards. So the one that I've kind of earmarked for starting with tonight is the Cake.Karma add-in. No real reason for that other than it's kind of next on the list, if I'm honest, or it's at least one of the ones that's on the list. So if we filter by these descending again, or the other way, Z to A, it's not really next on the list at all. It's kind of halfway. I don't know why I decided to pick on this one, but I did. So, oh no, it's filtered on it's filtering on the way I want them to. So it's the 12. The 12 that's left are, so this one, Unity 3D's already got PR open. HG and HG version are being updated by the new maintainer on those ones. Fluent Migrator, I don't know why I didn't pick on these ones. But yeah, Cake.Karma is the one I'm going to do next. Now, as I've been going through these, I have made at least one decision. Hey, what decision been made? That I'm pushing out a version of the add-in to do all the kind of the best practices in terms of pinning to Cake.Recipe 1.0, some the repository changes and updating new spec, all that sort of stuff, and updating to the latest version of Cake. But I'm not upgrading it at the minute to use the new project structure. Mainly because I felt that was kind of too many breaking changes. So I'm going to do one breaking change, which is to update to the latest version of Cake, which in itself is a breaking change because it's if you're pinned on an older version of Cake and you happen to pull in a new version of add-in, then you have to update to Cake, or otherwise it won't work. So what I'm not doing is changing the project structure to use the new CS project format, which then brings in .NET Core and then brings in .NET Standard 2.0. I'm going to do that as a later fix at some point. So the scope of work for the remaining 12 add-ins here is to leave them on a version of .NET, full-fat.NET Framework with the old CS project format, and then to switch them out again. Kim saying easy to change though, and not a breaking change to the end user. Not a breaking change necessarily, but it's kind of more work. It means having to be careful about switching from packages.config to package.references. It means stripping out all the old CS project format bump that's not required anymore. Switching to switching over to Cake.Recipe to use .NET Core. It's not a lot of work, no, but it's just more than I want to do at this point, if I'm honest. It really is. Because where I kind of see it in 3 stages. The first stage is to get it up to the latest version of Cake. The second one is to cross-compile between 461 and NetStandard 2, and then finally to remove the 461. So there's kind of 3 stages there. Do I have to open one? And I have seen that tool before as well. Yes, I know the exact tool that you're pointing me to. I've used it. I have used this tool. It seemed to work, but at the time when I used it, I didn't really know too much about it, so I didn't know if I trusted it. So I need to go back again and see if I still trust it based on what I know now to work, or to be required rather. Anyway, so that's my plan. So let's go up to here and go into Cake-Contrib, and then go into cake.karma. And then we're on the develop branch, so we're going to go into a new VS Code and I'm going to start the process. So I've already created an issue, which was, I don't know why, Kim. I genuinely keep typing. Whenever I go to type cake, I end up, I type kale. I don't know why. I always do it. Now, how many times I've gone to a 404 on GitHub when I go to cake-build/kale, and I don't know why. I really don't. I must really do. So it's a strange one. Okay, so there's kind of 2 issues here. The first one is the one that was automatically generated by Jericho and Cake-Contrib, Cake add-in discoverer. I see Jericho is in the chat room as well. Hi, Jericho. So I'll be pinning commits to that one when this work is specifically for that part of it, and the other issue is kind of the general project update. So those are the 2. So it's 11 and 13. So let's just get started. So first things first is to get the latest. Actually, I did it again. I did it again. Cake bootstrappers is what I want. I want to download the latest PowerShell bootstrapper, and I want to download the latest Bash one. So the Bash one wasn't there, but in this one, I'm going to change this to be. Change this back to what it was. I'm going to change this back to what it was, which is setup, and then. So that was 13. So that was lots of new stuff there and a brand new file. So GH13, my lucky number. Add latest cake. Seriously. It's going to be all night now. I'm just not going to be able to type it or any other words. Add latest cake bootstrappers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up this one so I can copy and paste a bunch of stuff. Cake.kale, ms deploy. And I'm going to look at commits. And I'm going to pull out ones that I've done before. I want to pull that one, and I want to pull that one because there's some text in there that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to search here for setup.cake. And now I'm going to change this to be recipe.cake. And I'm going to change this one to be recipe.cake. And I'm going to change the one that wasn't changed in my build.sh because I did that wrong. Setup.cake. No, I've done that wrong again. Recipe.cake. So now if I do a search for setup.cake, there shouldn't be any. And then the only one I need to change here then is this one. Recipe.cake. And then if I go over here and run build, then that should at least attempt, but it'll be getting the wrong version of cake because it'll probably be pulling an older one. Oh, that's a much older one. Right, we'll come back to that. Because this commit is just about changing the name, which is this one. So I'm going to pull that text, I'm going to put it into here along with 13. And then in the second commit, I'm going to pull this. And I'm going to put that into here. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go in here. And I'm going to change this to 32.1. And then while I'm here, no, that should kick a bunch of stuff into. Lots of red text there because the mismatch between the cake versions. But this time round, it should it's downloading a bunch of stuff. If you like kale that much, here's a Dutch recipe for stampot borenkool. I'm going to go with. Got no idea what that is. What is all this red text for? Unexpected characters in CSproj files. That looks interesting. Unexpected character in Karma Runner. Interesting. Okay. Control P, Karma Runner. What's that about? I haven't looked at it, Maurice, but I fully expect that the that build will fail for reasons. But I haven't checked to see if it's related to this one or not. Line 89. Oh. Who put that in there? That is a... That's a C-Sharp 7 feature that this project isn't going to be able to take advantage of. Or is it because it's being pinned on? So that is a cake version. No, that is a cake version issue. But that is a reference issue. I'm trying to remember when we brought those features into Cake itself, into the Cake scripting. So it might just be as simple as updating it, but let's open it in Visual Studio and get it bumped up. And then we can give it a try. I'm curious as to when that got changed. And oh no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Let's see what Visual Studio is telling us. Open. SPC. C. GitHub. Organizations. Cake-Contrib. Which one was it? Karma. source karma. So thank you. Clean solution. Rebuild. Curious. I'm curious. Yeah, that's the line I was. Oh, sorry. See, are you doing a blame on that? 2 years ago. Interesting. Very. Let's get it updated anyway, so that we can see where we're at. So I'm going to put in 33 there. I'm going to update it. And then I'm going to do the same on the test project. I'm going to say 33. Update. Yes. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. Update. Okay. And then the change that I am going to make, because it's all there, I'm just going to change that to 461. But it's already there, and that's already there too. So clean. Rebuild. Rebuild all succeeded. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to check then is, for the sake of sanity, I am going to pull all these things out and make sure that it does a fresh build of it. And then, if it's still not working on my machine, then I guess we should push it up to AppVeyor and see if it builds there, and see if it's not something local on my machine. Invalid token, it's all the same things. So, why? Sorry, why is it using 14? Project file contains tool version 14. That's not what we want, is it? We want something other than 14, I think. Don't we? Which one did I just do? Which one did I just change yesterday? GitHub.com. Did it again. Cake-Contrib. This one. What does HipChat have? HipChat. Like to mix it up a little bit, Kim, every so often. Let's go 14 in there too. What's this though? What's causing that to get... In case you were able to resolve this in installing an appropriate version of MS Build, or the MS Build might force the particular tools version, treating the project as if tools version 4. For more information, see that. So confused. Okay, let's have a quick look at the AppVer CI build and see why it was failing. Yeah, it's failing because, well, it's failing. that's so broken. Have a look at the history though. That's a bunch of graph stuff. That's not even the build. See if we can render it. Build. .14.0. Because I don't have it installed. Let's see. Program files. Because what I don't have is I don't have older versions of Visual Studio on this machine. Where is it finding that? x86 NS build. Look at that. So I think that explains why it's not building on this machine, and it also explains why it's building on AppVer, because AppVer has all versions of Visual Studio installed. So yeah, I mean, we could force. No, we can't do that because that would be cake.recipe. And we haven't exposed the MS Build settings as a property that can be overridden. So why did this not fail though for HipChat last night? Oh, because I wasn't on this machine for HipChat last night. I was on my Mac, and it was failing for other reasons on my Mac, and I just pushed to AppVer to have it build on there. Okay, so this makes sense then, and this is more reason to convert it to .NET Core, but I'm still not doing that tonight. That's not part of the plan for tonight. And why did it not fail with an executable not found? Because I suspect that it's trying to do magic. I suspect that it's trying to do magic and failing to do magic, is my guess. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. It might, but maybes. I'll tell you what, I'm going to kick that off, and then I'm just going to nip inside to get something while I think about it, and I will come back in a second. So I'm going to kick that off, and then I will be back with you soon. So give me a few minutes. Hey, sorry about that. What have I missed? He's making a scene. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce that. CTYAR. I don't know how to pronounce that. But yes, if you have, sure, I'm happy to try and attempt to field some cake questions if you want to ask them. I have no objections to that. This install of Visual Studio Build Tools is still going. I think that's taken longer than I would have expected, but it's still running. But yeah, so where we got to was the build was still failing. The build was failing locally, but we were going to try and push it up to AppVeyor to see if it worked up there. So what changes have we got in here? This was us pinning to version of cake.recipe. So let's add that one. And this one was not that one. So this one we added to here. And then where's my pinning of that? We're going to take that and put this into here. And that is under issue 13. And then the other ones here were for pinning to cake 33, which was under issue 11, I think. Maurice was saying there, for those who wants to see the output of Poshbots soon, that was just updated. Where's this link take me? Is this link safe for work, Maurice? Let's have a look. Open a can of juice over here. Is this a GIF? It does take a while to load. So is that, you've literally just done it. So you've installed the plugin, the actual plugin, and then you've written soon, and it's come up with the cow hiding in the fields there, and the word soon at the bottom. There we go. Beautiful. So that is good. So I don't think I want to say no to the notifications from ibb.co. I suspect that their counter aren't updating that quickly. Let's just have a quick look and see if it's at least got one in there. So look. Posh. What? There we go. Dot soon. Is it index now so we can search for it? Oh, it is. Look. 0 downloads. Oh, no, look. 1 download. Well done, Maurice. We are off to the races. What's the best way to provide secrets for cake that works both locally in Azure DevOps? Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Kim there. Environment variables. So that's how I run all the builds through AppVeyor. So AppVeyor, I define all the variables through the environment variable settings in AppVeyor, and then I have the same environment variables locally on my machine. So when I'm running the build locally, it runs locally with those, and then in the CI system it pulls them from there as well. The benefit of using environment variables is just that you can have different values of those environment variables for different, whether it's going to production or whether it's going to some sort of QA environment. You can specify different environment variables if you need to. So that's how I would do it. There are other mechanisms like using something like what I want to call it, Azure Key Vault, or just Vault. You can store them as key value pairs in those services and pull the values from there as part of your cake build. But the easiest one would be environment variables. Yeah. So I was doing a commit there, which was to number 11. So this is Jericho's issue that he released, and I'm going to say bump cake version to 0. 33.0. That's not a 3, that's a 2. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to do git push upstream so that we can test it, and that installation has now completed, so we can test that as well. So git push upstream. GPG encrypted files. Interesting. Never done that myself. Where did I push that? Git push upstream. Why is develop? Oh, develop must be tracking the wrong one. But okay. Oh, I will be because I've. That's fine. Git remote -v. Beautiful. Okay, so let's check the CI build on this one to see if that completes. And then having done that build, let's see if this runs locally now. So out of interest then, CTR, are you using Cake for open source builds, or are you using it in-house? What are you building with it? I'm curious. Feel free to tell me to go away and mind my own business, but I am curious about these sorts of things. So where you've seen it done, Kim, who's well, I guess I was going to say whose public key are they using to do the encryption, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, you've also so on your machine, Kim, have you got do you have 2017 and 2019 installed, or just 2019? So I'm getting a different error message now. The different error message is the name of the task in the project file is the same as the name of the task class. The task class is public and implements the Microsoft Build Framework iTask interface. That means nothing to me. On Windows now, both 2017 and 2019. Okay, so it's not. So which error message are you getting then, Kim? Are you getting the one about the C#7 syntax errors, or are you getting the one I'm just getting regarding get reference nearest target framework task? Interesting. Okay, so the build completely works in AppVeyor. So it's something. It is something local on both our machines. It must be a developer pack or something, but I can't think what it would be. But if it's running on AppVeyor just now, I'm happy to give it a try, and or continue. I'll keep going with the CI build, and like I say, ultimately we're going to switch to running on .NET Core anyway, so this is going to go away. But I'll still be curious to know really what's going on. And you're using it for a small open source project. Cool. Anything you can share, or not quite ready to share it yet? Yeah, so that's the error that I was getting previously, and now I'm on to something else, which is this one. I'll put this into the chat room as well. So error blah 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 blah. This one. I'm going to paste this in here, so we've got both of them. There we go. Okay, but that's fixed, or in the sense that it's working. It's not working on my machine, which is normally what you say. It's working on the AppVeyor machine, which is the important one, I guess. So let's do the other updates, which is those ones are already there. Maurice is running on his, so let's see what comes back from there. Okay, so I'm going to update a few other things in here. So I'm going to do CI/CD. and I'm going to update the appver.yaml file, and that's going to go into 13. Add standard appver config file. Build succeeded with 0 errors and 0 warnings. We're 2 for 2. Anybody else in the chat room want to try running the Cake.Karma locally on their machine to see what errors they get? Would be appreciated. CI/CD, GitHub files, cake dot. Maybe it's just bad karma. See what I did there? Crack myself up. So, code of conduct contributing has develop in it. So we're going to want to do a research here for master. This is going to become develop. That's going to become develop on the develop or master branch, and leave that one, and I'm going to change this one. There we go. Then here we're going to say gh13 and GitHub template files, and then all is a Git attributes. The one we don't have is editor config file. So we're going to say gh13 add editor config file, and then Git release manager has got the ones in it that we need. So what other changes do I typically add? Where's my list of commits? It's here. So, we haven't always run Git version. Let's go in here and say should run Git version true. Blah, blah, blah. And that's going to be a gh13, which is always run Git version. Check that in. Oh, then you get metadata. It's kind of the whole point. So in here, we're going to have a license URL, which we're going to want to take out. The license of this project is MIT. So if we go to this one, and I'm going to borrow this line, and I'm going to put this in here. So it's a license expression of MIT, and this here is karma, and that's got .git on the end of it. So this is going to be gh13 for update NuGet metadata. It's already got the icon URL in it that's using JSDeliver. It's got Cake-Contrib as the owners. All of that's good so far. Okay, and then the list of commits that had other things in it: bootstrappers, recipe, version, appver, editor config. Okay, so I think those are all the things that we want to change. So if I go ahead and push this upstream again, git push upstream, and we'll do a git push origin, keep them in sync. Let's make sure that that build completes, which it should. And in preparation for that, let's go and do a git switch -c of release /020. Is that right? Is that the one we're working towards? 20 from develop. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go and click on this, click on this, and I'm going to say mark as closed, leaving that one open because it was being discussed and it had an open pull request. I don't know enough about the details of that PR to help out with it just now. But if we go over here and you should really install and configure Poolbot. For what purpose? If you could talk to me about Poolbot, what do I need that for? Milestone not set on the breaking change. Was it not? Let's have a look. You're right. It wasn't closed. It wasn't set on a couple of them. So this one, milestone 202. That was a duplicate. I marked it as such. Okay. And now if we go in here and we run build with target equals release notes. Let's run that and have it generate a release for us, hopefully. Ba-ba. So Kim's saying, I see why it fails during the build on my machine. It uses MS build from Windows folder and not the one in program files. It uses the correct one for the restore though. So I'll run it again locally once we finish this and we can take a closer look at that. Git checkout master, git merge, no FF of the release branch, git push upstream. Make sure that build's finished first and it's working, still running before we run that. We will have got our draft release here, which has got our breaking change and our project update, so that's good. And it completed, so let's push that. So you're saying, Maurice, that it would keep my fork up to date, but normally it's a difficult one. Maybe for certain ones, but when I'm doing things like this, I have both the fork and the upstream in the exact same repository. So it's, for me, it's, yeah, I don't know whether I would actually use it. I know it, no, that's not what I'm saying. I know it will keep them up to date. My question was really, do I need it to keep them up to date? And then this is going to be a pull request. Can I make it so it does it automatically? Keep your forks up to date via automatic pull request, merges, or hard oh, okay. A hard reset seems more interesting to me. Before you start, make a backup. Love it. Keep your forks up to date. It merges automatically. Maybes. I mean, so in this workflow where I have git remote -v, where I have both my fork, which is origin, and upstream in the same place, normally I'm going the other way. So normally I'm pushing to origin and then creating a PR. I'm doing something a bit backwards just now, whereas because I have the rights, I'm pushing directly to upstream and then I'm just happen to be keeping my fork up to date. Normally it's my fork that I'm keeping up to date and then merging into so in that scenario, yes, that if I'm not doing this scenario, the pullbot makes a bit more sense because I might be away from the repository when the pull request gets merged, at which point having it update my fork would make sense. In this workflow, I'm doing the two at exactly the same point. So me just doing a git push upstream and then a git push origin makes sense in that workflow in my head. But if I was doing things properly, I could see pullbot being more useful, yes. And you should never do this. Everything that I'm doing on this stream, don't ever do it, because no, just don't. do what I don't do what I do what I tell you. Is that the old saying? And yeah, never commit directly into the default branch. I'm fairly sure that's what it says in the contributing docs that I would just added and added directly into the develop branch here. But it's all good. I mean, it's fine. What could go wrong? Let's be honest. What could go wrong? Let's wait for this to finish. Or some other. Was that the answer? Was that a response to my question? As in, what could go wrong with some other committer? That's absolutely a possibility. But the reason that I'm even doing this on here was that prior to my commits, the last commit in this repository was in 2017. So I'm relatively happy that I'm not going to get a conflict. But even if I did, I mean, if another commit came in and if someone else came in and put a commit on this branch before I got into it, then Git would stop me pushing, and at that point I would create a branch and I would rebrace my branch on top of theirs and keep going. So it's definitely a possibility. I mean, it's definitely can happen. I think I'm relatively safe on this one, so we're going to wing it. And I've just got a sanity check that it was, the next one was 2.0. It is. Right. Okay, so that was there. I'm going to click the publish button. Then I'm going to do a git checkout of the develop branch. Make sure that there's nothing to merge into from the release branch. I don't think we made any changes. So Kim will pick me up on it, but it should be a no op, which it was. And git push upstream. We already had them, so there should be nothing there. And then git push origin. I think I had everything up there as well. At which point we should do git branch -d of the release branch, and we're good to go. So assuming that this one then has a tag in it, which it doesn't yet. Why has that not come over yet? I click the button. It's published. Why is that bear not be triggered? Is my internet gone? Has that bear gone? That bear status. Says it's all green. Refresh. Is that bear working for anybody? Oh, there it goes. Karma. Oh, there it goes. Okay, phew. Let's just call it a glitch in the matrix, shall we? Maurice has just given me karma for doing the Cake-Karma plugin in the I appreciate it. I do. Doesn't look like the Cakebot responded to you though, unfortunately. I'm fairly sure it is a different karma though, isn't it? Is it not a JavaScript runner in this sense? I think it's a JavaScript tool. I think. So I'll look at the documentation. There is no documentation. Let's have a look at the aliases. What does the runner actually do? So the runner picks up node, and then it's running Karma CLI. Yes, it is. Oh, it's not working for any of you. Oh, that seems a shame. Okay. Well, fine. Oh. It's maybe sleeping. Cakebot's maybe having a wee snooze. It's not working for me either. Yeah, fairly sure that the Cakebot is having a wee snooze. Anyone on the stream that doesn't know what we're talking about, we have a Hubot instance running in the Cake-Contrib lobby Gitter channel, and it's currently not responding to any commands, which leads me to believe that it is currently sleeping. It's running on the free tier within Heroku, and in there you can only run it for 18 hours out of every day. So I suspect we're in the 6-hour period where it's not allowed to run. Which should be changed to Poshbot. I mean, maybes, maybe. The benefit with, I was going to get Brandon on to talk about that, wasn't we? The benefit with something like Hubot is that it can run in Heroku, which is just a managed service, whereas at the minute, Poshbot needs kind of a full instance to run on. But Brandon seemed to think it might be able to get it to run on a sort of container. We should get Brandon on to have a chat about running Poshbot somewhere in the cloud so that it can be set up for more stuff. And what should really happen is Maurice should have a look at the Gitter plugin for Poshbot and get it working as his next task. Okay, so Cake.Karma's just gone out the door. So the next time the add-in discoverer runs, which should be tonight at about 12 o'clock, we should find that Cake.Karma has got a new icon URL, it has a license, it's got a repository URL, and it will be pinned to Cake.Recipe 1.0. The one thing that, and it will be updated to 0.33. The one thing that won't be is it won't be updated to be .NET Standard 2.0. And that's, as I expressed at the start, that's a job for another day. So the next release of this plugin should switch to using .NET Core for doing the build. It should cross-compile against 4.6.1 and Net Standard 2 and ship a release. And then another release at some point after that, which drops the Net 4.6.1 and just leaves it with Net Standard 2.0. And absolutely you should, Maurice. I've added something onto your to-do list just to help you out. You know, I like to be a nice guy, and I like to help people. So I'm helping increase your to-do list there. Sure, let's do it. Okay, so the next one that I think I want to look at, let's have a look and see where Fluent Migrator's at. Fluent Migrator's been around for a little while. Let's have a look at quickly updating Fluent Migrator, shall we? Did I close off everything that I wanted to close off for here? Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so Karma's done. We'll keep MS Deploy ones about because we don't need HipChat one, we don't need Pullbot. Cake.Karma's been published. Fluent Migrator is the one we're going to take a look at. So let's move him over here. And let's have a look and see what... I mean, we'll do a quick sanity check of the open pull requests. So there's been a bit of work in here. upgrade to a lot of these. A lot of these might be branch not deployed. It's still mergeable. So what were the changes in here? Changes were there 461. It bumped it to 22 and changed those. Changed to 461. Okay. Fluent migrator packages.config. Bump that to 22, 22. Okay. So I'm going to say that that one is okay. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So NuGet.org, cake.fluentmigrator, cake.fluentmigrator. It is at 030, so the next release will be 040. So let's have a look and see if we're following. Yes, we are. So 0.4.0. I'm going to go to this issue, and I'm going to say that this is going to be an improvement, and this is going to be on that one. So cake.karma has just been published, if anyone is interested in taking a look. The recommended changes issue from Jericho is going to be a breaking change, and that's going to be labeled as 400.040. I'm going to edit this to change this text to say 33. I'm going to remove this one because we're not going to do that just now. The NuGet package for your add-in should use Cake-Contrib icon specifically. So I'm going to remove that one as well because it's covered by the other issue, right? And that is then, so the only one that's going to be in here is 033. So that's that. So that one's going to be in that one, and then add explicit reference to cake.core. What's this asking for? Oh, I seem to remember this one. Cake.core ships with that. I'm not arguing against that. This was a conversation that we had that was trying to make it clear within NuGet. When you go to NuGet.org, it was trying to make it clear in here about what version of Cake is required in order to run the add-in. And what the gentleman in this issue was saying was it's not clear at the minute, and he wanted a reference to cake.core. Now we tend to not recommend that because cake.core already ships as part of core, so the extra NuGet dependency isn't required. And I think the end result of this was that we weren't going to do it. Project right now. I'm also interested in seeing that PR. So the PR was this one. Please reconsider the dependencies. As Cake moved ahead to 0.23, there's still no way to get the extension to work as it requires. Yep. Please reconsider the dependencies, which we're going to do. So the pull request that they're referring to was this one. So in this one, did we add a NuGet dependency on cake.core? And if we did, it would have went into the new spec file. But that hasn't happened. The new spec file hasn't been touched. If I could spell it. No, the new spec file hasn't been touched. If what they were asking for was going to be done, then it would have happened in here, because it would have said dependencies, but we haven't done that. So I'm going to say that that issue is closed. I am a way to update this add-in to use the latest version of Cake within the compilation of the add-in. This should hopefully resolve most issues discussed here. I am not planning on adding a dependency on cake.core in the new spec file though, as I still don't believe that this is required. Please let me know if there are any follow-up comments about this. Close. I've got a Twitter message here from Maurice. Just moments ago, Get39 released Poshbot soon. Absolutely. So I'm going to go and click on that and say, or retweet that. Okay. So that's closed. If we go back up here and look at this pull request, then I'm going to say that this one has been replaced by this one, maybe? I'm agreement that should be updated dependencies. So what did this one do? This one updated to, see, I don't agree with that though. I don't think we should be updating that far. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to this pull request. This pull request here remained at 461, which is what Cake itself is compiled against. So this one makes sense to me. So I'm going to say that this one we can merge in. Because. Right, I'm going to say approve. Looks good to me. And I'm going to merge this one in. So this one is targeting. Really? I thought Flute Migrator had a develop branch. Did it? Or did it just master? Oh, it does have a develop branch. Merde. What's the chances we could just switch it and I'll be happy? Let's try it. Sure, why not? Didn't fail. Didn't fail. Has it pulled in other stuff though? It has. Merde. Okay, fine. Let's do it the hard way. Git cd ... git clone. Let's do it the hard way. Git clone this one. Git 13. cd into cake.fluent migrator. We're on develop branch, good. Git checkout master. Git checkout develop. Git remote add upstream to there. Git fetch upstream. Git rebase upstream develop. Git push origin. Git checkout master matter. master git rebase upstream. So this is where your pull bot would come into play, Maurice, for this, the state that I'm in just now. Git checkout, develop, git fetch upstream pull. What's the number? Pull requests. But like I say, it's a slightly different flow because, yes, everything I said before is still the same. 16 head PR16. Beautiful. Git checkout. Oh, what did I do wrong? Git upstream pull. Is it not head? Is it that? Here we go. Git checkout PR16. Git rebase this on what's on develop branch. Git X to C. So let me see an example of what it will do. This has got an example here. Pull develop. So it merged it as well. Okay. Interesting. But what does it do? Are all the commits the same? So it is just a pull. So it's got all of those things in it. Maybe. Where was I going? So PR16 is updated to that. Okay, fine. So I've rebased that. So git checkout develop, git merge, no FF, PR16, git push upstream. Okay, so I'm going to say over here, I'm going to grab that commit that we just did here. I'm going to grab that here, and I'm going to say, thank you very much for your work here. I have just rebased and merged your changes into this commit. As a result, I am going to close this PR, but your work has still been attributed. Closing comment. So back up to the other pull requests, I'm going to say that here, who was this? This was JR. At JR, currently, Cake itself is compiled against .NET 4.6.1 and Net Standard 2.0. As a result, it isn't currently recommended to bump to anything higher than 4.6.1. As such, I am going to close this PR and update Cake references directly to latest recommended Cake 0.33.0. Closing comment. Okay, so that's that one. Then this one, updated .NET Framework version to be here. Nope, don't think we need that because that's done as part of the build script. That's not required. I don't know why they're throwing open cover into the packages.config file. So no, I'm going to say that that is not what we want right now. So I'm going to go back to this one and borrow the text I put in there. And I'm going to say copy that. That's the wrong copy I just did. And I'm going to go in conversation here and BO puppy. BO puppy. Paste. Close the comment. Pull requests. Which one's left? Attempting to get .NET Framework version up to current levels. That's a second commit or a second merge from here. 451. I'm just going to say I am working on getting this done just now. So just now. Thanks for raising this PR, but in its current state, I don't think we can merge it. Closing comment. Okay, so that gets us down to no open pull requests. Issues are the one from Jericho and the one or the request from me to add the Cake-Contrib icon. So let's do another one. Not a problem, Maurice. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate it as always. General repository, and thank you for the work on Poshbot soon. Pull requests into Poshbot Gitter backend. Feel free. Look forward to reviewing them. General repository and project update. This is going to be a milestone there. It's going to be an improvement, and I'm going to take it. Okay, so we've got a few things we need to do here. The issues are all on the 40040. Okay, so this is not the project that we're working on. Right, I've got a few minutes. Code dot. Start at the beginning. And I've already forgotten the number. General 22. So let's grab the latest Cake Bootstrapper for PowerShell, because it's going to be out of date. And then we'll install a bash one. Ooh, I see Pascal is working on some Cake stuff just now as well. I've just seen a notification come through. Is he on the stream? Is Pascal on the stream? Let's see him. But he's doing stuff. I'm getting notifications through. Let's change that to setup. Let's change this to setup. And there we go. So it's 22. GH22. Update to latest Cake. I'm all over the shop with Cake tonight. Bootstrappers. Boom. Then we're going to search for setup.cake. And we will change this to recipe instead. We'll change this to recipe. And we'll change this to recipe. And we'll go in here and we'll change this to recipe. Then we're going to go over to some commit messages where I did this before. And I'm going to grab that and put that in there. Change that to 22. Then what we're going to need to do is this one, where we pin to a specific version of cake.recipe, because we're away break a bunch of stuff and we don't want to impact on a lot of people. And that means that we need to pin that to there, and we need to pin that. So let's grab that and put this in here as 22. Save that, and then we're going to go in here and say should run git version is going to be true. That's just something that we do as part of the... It's not as important on Windows, but when you're running on another machine, running git version, you need to always do it so that all the version numbers work as expected. Always run git version. Then in here, we are now targeting 461, so we'll put this into our lib folder. We're going to take out the license URL because we're going to use license expression instead. We're going to do a sanity check that this is an MIT license, which it is. We're going to put this in here, and we're going to change MS deploy to be Fluent Migrator. And the project URL is correct. Owners has got Cake-Contrib in it. That's there. Okay. And this is going to be a commit that says GH22 update NuGet metadata. Boom. Then if we go back here and steal this one, which is the icon URL. I missed that space there. I don't think it's got icon URL in here yet. So let's put that in. And then that issue is 14. So GH, oh, I'm away in the wrong place. GH14, add icon, two spaces, it does. Icon URL to NuGet metadata. Oh, save that. Save that. Save that. So then in here we're going to do a CI/CD, which is to let's have a look. For getting rid of issue 22. So we've got an appware config file. It doesn't have the latest in it, so let's do CI/CD of appware. I'm going to override that, and then we're going to say gh-22 add standard appware config file, and that's just going to be a bunch of changes. Beautiful. Let's close off some stuff and have a look where we got to. CI/CD, we're going to want this one, cake.fluent migrator. And then in here, I'm going to change that because the name is wrong in my template. This has got a develop branch, so we're going to need to change the wording slightly. So this is going to say develop. That is going to say develop. This is going to say on the develop or master branch. And then the final change is going to be this one. And this is going to be gh22 add GitHub template files. What else do we need in here? Editor config file, so CI/CD and editor config file. That's gh22 add editor config file. It had a git attributes, it's got a git ignore, git release manager, has everything we need in it, so that's good. So the only thing left then is having a look at our current references. So currently in here we've got a cake.core reference to 22, and so let's do this in Visual Studio actually because it will be easier. File, open project or solution, go up a level, find Fluent Migrator, we'll go into the source and we'll open this, and then we'll update some NuGet references, manage NuGet packages. Here we're going to bump to 33, and we're going to update it. Sure. And then on this one, manage new get packages for this one. 33. Sure. Let's do a clean in here and a rebuild. Rebuild failed. Must have been a breaking change. Cake runtime does not contain a definition for target framework and no accessible blah blah blah. So what does it have then? We have built framework. Resolves a path to migrate.exe. Target framework. Why did that change? Anyone on the call remember why that changed? Between 0.17 and 33? What's it trying to do? Tool locator resolve architecture is CPU x86, and the framework version is either 40 or 35, and that's based on what was the target framework of the environment I runtime. So why did that change? GitHub, Cake, Kale, Cake. Let's have a look. Cake runtime. Cake runtime. Let's have a look at the interface first. Let's see when it changed. That's not right. Blame. Build framework. It looks like it's when it got added. Gets the build time.NET framework version that's being used. So what went on in this PR? Let's have a look and see if I remember correctly. This was a big PR. Target framework. Is that the name of the property? I think it was. Is that what it was before I go too far down that path? Target framework. It was. There's a few places. So yeah, it looks like there was a direct replacement. But was it? Interesting. Get target framework has now been replaced. Oh, it's no longer there. Target framework was what's that got then? That's a guess, but What's that got? No. Build framework. Dot. Version. Dot. I mean, it's all there. What I don't know though is whether it's changed its meaning. Let's try building it. Rebuild. Did I not just fix that? Oh, it's the fixture this time. Runtime dot build framework. Try again. Rebuild. Okay. Let's have a build locally. Make sure all the tests and things pass. So the build's running. No. Migrate our tests. Oh, that's the same issue that we were having before. That worked on app there, but it didn't work locally. Okay, so let's carry on down that path then. And we'll test it on app there. So the issue is going to be 21 this time. So all of these changes are for GH21. Update to Cake 0.3.0. Boom. Okay, so what have I missed? We're done with that one. Always run Git version, I think we did. Added templates, added those things. Starting to check in the recipe.cake. Should run Git versions, got all the right things in it. Build, and then the other thing I wanted to sanity check was the new spec file. Again, Cake-Contrib, MIT. Okay, so let's do this. Git push upstream. Let's see what the app VR build says. So if we go over to here and we look for Fluent. Let's see what happens. And it's coming up on, I'm already kind of past my allotted time, so I'll probably finish this and then just do a quick shoot. So git switch -c release. Which one are we working towards? 040. Oh, hold on, Kim, what are you up to? 04. I wondered why you're going quiet. .NET Core. Oh, really? Let's have a look. Fixes 14. What did you create here then? Change to blah blah blah, and that's support for .NET Core. Okay. You have been busy. Poor new spec file. Tool settings. Oh, because none of those things are actually needed anymore, are they? Because it's all run by... No, do we not still need some of those for open cover? I'm curious about why all of those got deleted, but we can maybe talk about that later. Oh, I see. Okay. So did you change it to be... Oh, you didn't just turn off Jute Finder then? Okay. Target framework is Netcore 461. Which one's that? That's the test one. Okay, fine. Lots of stuff. Fine. Cake.testing. What was that file got deleted? Assembly info. Yes, that makes sense. Gotcha. Net standard 461. You added in all the stuff, which should come out with the new spec. All of that. Oh, hold on. Executing. I had this on another add-in. What was it I did? I think... No. It was the fact, I think, that we bumped... But NUnit wasn't in here. No, it's the fact that you can't find NUnit because NUnit hasn't been resolved, and I think it's to do with the fact that NUnit needs to be what now? How is NUnit even there? Oh, I'm so confused right now. Oh, it's a unit test framework. Oh, that's why. Mother Hubbard. It's to do with the fact that... I see that. Cake.recipe is incorrectly identifying this test DLL as an NUnit project. So it's trying to run XUnit, but... Or sorry, I said NUnit, it's XUnit. It's trying to run XUnit because it's incorrectly identified that project type as XUnit rather than what is essentially MS Test. I'm sure there probably is an open issue for it. But I can't fix that. Well, I could do a hot fix, I guess. What did you actually change in here? So the version of incubator that we're using, its methods are incorrect. Is that right? And as a result, you've had to do this. Mother. So that would have to be a hotfix. Oh, I really don't want to have to do that just now, Kim. There is a bug in the incubator as well, preventing a correct check in the latest version as well. Not just the version Cake.Recipe is using. Okay, so that's a different issue. But so this change that you've done here is no longer using those helper methods. So if we were to make this a hotfix release and release 1.0.1 of Cake.Recipe using this PR, that would mean I could switch this build to use 1.0.1. That would fix the unit test results, and then everyone was happy. Then we can worry about the other stuff in the newest version of Cake.Incubator once we get to that point. Or just make sure that everyone uses X. Yes, that would be one way to do it, but I've been trying to make these updates with as little to no changes to the code itself and just the build infrastructure. So is what I just said a sensible plan to update or to push out a hotfix of Cake.Recipe to include just your one pull request and then move forward from there? What do you think? What do you think? It would be a good test for this fix as well. Oh, don't tell me that. Why are you not completely sure? Oh, Kim, I was relying on you. Would, of course, depend on how many really is affected by the bug. I've seen it at least twice. So the first one was with Cake.VSMetrics, which is using VS Test, and this one, which is using, so it's on at least two. Because there's two options. So currently I want to get Fluent Migrator pushed out, right? So I have two options. I either switch the unit tests in here to use something other than the MS test that it's currently using, X unit or N unit, or I get Cake.Recipe to correctly identify the project types and run the corresponding unit testing framework. But given that it's got both integration tests as well as unit tests, my gut tells me to fix Cake.Recipe. I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm already out of time. But what's your thoughts? It seems the lesser of two evils to fix Cake.Recipe. And given that there's already a PR out for it, would be the best option. However, I would suggest quickly looking over the other PRs. Oh, so what you're saying is... Okay. How about this then? How about... Can I ask you to do me a favour? Can I ask you to go through these to look which ones would be hotfix worthy, and then we could make a hotfix for the unit test checks and anything other that is deemed as hotfix worthy and get that pushed out. Yes? On the basis that once I get these last 12 projects out the window, I fully expect to run through all of these and get them all pulled in pretty much straight away. So on that basis, how much do we want to pull in now, knowing that in 11 projects' time, we're going to pull them all in? So just something to think about. Okay, so if you could do that, that'd be great. I'll have a think about it while I sleep tonight and try to come up with a plan going forward. Okay, so that for me is it. There aren't others that are needed quickly for a hotfix. Okay, cool. So that would leave... before you go, Jericho, before you go, one thing I want to point out in the Excel audit report, the columns that indicates that Adam's referencing the correct version of Cake now display in yellow if author. Yes, I pointed that out in a previous. Yes, you're referring to this, Jericho, right? I pointed that out in a previous stream, and I thought that was a great addition. So, because it was, they kind of got lost sometimes. The ones that were greater than 33 last Monday. I knew it was it as long ago as that? Maybe it was. So yeah, this makes total sense to me. Something we somehow need to educate authors about. I agree, because I mean it's the 033 is the recommended one because obviously it's the one that can target the biggest scope of people. So if your add-in specifically is targeting a higher version of Cake than is actually necessary, then you're kind of forcing people to go to that one as opposed to being able to stick to the current pin one. However, Kim did point out on that same stream that although we didn't intend it, there is technically a breaking change between, I think it was 34. We broke the way that NuGet packages are resolved. Now, technically, that is a runtime breaking change as opposed to a compilation breaking change, which is what we're trying to cater for here. Now, the break in 34 was we changed the way that pre-release packages are resolved by default in the preprocessor directives. Now, that's not technically a breaking change from a compilation point of view, which could result, as we've seen today, with that target framework being renamed to built framework. That's a runtime problem. But technically, 34 is kind of where we want to be to cover everyone. However, 33 is where I'm gunning for. But if I can get everyone to 33, then getting everyone to 34 should be much easier. Anyway, the yellow, yes, definitely makes sense, and I like that addition. And then we've also spoken around this issue that we know about now with the blanks. We know why that's happening, and you've got an issue that lists out all the projects that has the blanks and explains why for each one. So that's great to have. So yeah, this is shaping up really nicely. But I think, as Pascal pointed out, at some point we're probably going to want another column in here related to the new spec metadata, because the NuGet team are kind of now recommending that if you have an icon, you should embed it into the package in the same way that you can embed a license file if you want to go down that route. But as I said to Pascal, or was it Kim, that's a job for another day as well. Much less, much further away. So if I can get this list of what is 12 down to 0, then we can start breaking things, Kim. And yes, the README going down. So again, there's lots of changes afoot, but the overall big one, the overall big ticket item is still this one. So if I take off 34, 34, and 33, there's still 107 that are using older versions of Cake. And that's where I want to get to. That one just scares me. 0.6.4. I can only assume that Sharprad isn't doing that one anymore because almost all of his other ones are up to date. So, The deprecation, yes, I am too. That would help for at least a few add-ins that we know about. That well, no, some of the ones that we have, there's only one that's really truly deprecated, where we went from Cake.extensions to Cake.incubator. That was a deprecation. The other ones are more not used anymore. So it depends whether the deprecation includes here's a new package to use and just don't use this package anymore. But at some point, we, the Cake community, need to update all of these to be on 33. Now, some of these I can't do much about directly because they are not in Cake-Contrib. So these will be PRs into various different projects. And some of them go all the way back to 0.10.1, which is quite an old version of Cake. But yeah, a job for a different day. Anyway, right, so in which case, Kim, tomorrow maybe I'll try and do a Cake.recipe hotfix. That will allow me to use... But Jericho, maybe if you're on hand here, if we were to say that there's going to be a 0.10 release of Cake.recipe, and we're happy for excuse me, we're happy for repositories to be using 1.0.1, is that going to be a problem, or is it currently saying anything greater? No, it can't be saying that. Can we make the add-in discoverer say that 1.0.0 and 1.0.1 is good? And if so, that will be probably shipping within the next couple of days in terms of a new version of Cake.recipe. So if that could be made available, that would be great. The Cake.recipe currently does not color code the recipe column. It does not. No, it doesn't. In which case, it's absolutely fine. So it'll just be another entry in there. Okay, perfect. No. If you wanted, I mean, it's certainly easier to pick them out sometimes with the whole reds and greens and yellows. So if you could, that would be great. While I think about it, while you're on the old stream here, anything that's got can we have a threshold on the issue count and the pull request count as well? So anything greater than 5 is yellow. Anything greater than 10 is red. That sort of thing. And 50, we kind of need some immediate help on that one. That one's a different kettle of fish because it's tied to a bigger project. That's why there's so many issues on that one. But yeah, having a threshold on the issue count would be good as well, I think. Yeah, that would be perfect. If you could, that would be great. Cool. Sounds good to me. And I think that was all I had. So I'm gonna sign off now. It's time for my bed. It's time for your bed too, Kim. You're an hour ahead of me. It's definitely time for your bed. Jericho, you're still like lunchtime, so you can't go to bed yet. Maybe later you can go to bed. And I will say goodnight for now. So thank you all for attending. I appreciate it as always. And dinner. There you go. I will talk to you all another time. Talk to you later.